Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Bean Turtle as always, and today I want to show y'all how I've been grinding top tier and just really just air realistic in general. Today I've got out my F-16C. I'm super happy that I have finally gotten this thing. I've been wanting this for quite a while at this point. I can make a joke and say I've wanted it for years, even though I really started grinding for this in 2022 or 2023. You can make a joke about that being, oh, it's so long ago because, New Year's happened. Bad joke. But, so you see me doing a somewhat heretical thing, carrying a bomb load on an F-16. Yes, this thing is a interceptor and an air fighter, but I've found it way more efficient to bomb a base with your fighter and then go into air combat. Because sometimes top tier air combat is a little out of your control. Sometimes, no matter how hard you flare, AIM-9Ms or R-73s just kind of ignore it and kill you anyway. Even if you cut your engine off or cut burners, etc., you'll get hit. Sometimes missiles will continue to lock you no matter what you do, no matter how hard you notch the missile, like I just did right there, and it still took forever for that missile to stop tracking me there. Sometimes stuff is out of your control, so the easiest way to keep yourself from going insane, I would say, in the short term, is just to kind of try to guarantee what you can guarantee. Nothing is more depressing, in my opinion, than seeing that boring 135 points, 135 score, when you get shot down and do nothing, but launch, so this is a good way to keep yourself from that fate. See, even here, I think I'm gonna get hit by that missile. Yeah, see, I flared a lot of times. I cut my burner. I probably could have maneuvered harder into it, but right there, that AIM-7 just hit me anyway. I didn't notice that it was a radar because I was talking, but that kind of thing. So that 135, the way that I've tried my best to prevent that low score. And I'll show another video here in a second of what I do, is you just go over and you take down a base. Now, if you're using let's just say you're using the F-16C, which honestly, if you've gotten this far, you've been grinding, or you bought the F4S, one of the two. I have this nicely laid out here for myself, mostly because I forget these things. But one base I found out is exactly at 12-3 or 12-0 or whatever, 11-3, whatever match you get, is exactly 10 500-pound bombs. So if you can't get that, if you're trying to use like the MiG-23ML, sorry about that, Gaijin doesn't like you. To get a single base kill, you need 10 500-pound bombs. And then that means you could use the extra 2 to do something else, like hit another base, like barely tag another base for a little bit of extra money. I tend to just hit drop all because I don't really care that much and I want to get into fighting. I also believe that in doing that, I get more money. So when you destroy bases with normal bombs, like the 500-pounders, the 10 500-pound bombs, you actually end up getting much more SL and research points than you do if you use the incendiary bombs. So if you notice, I say 4 each here, you can actually carry up to 2 bases worth of incendiary bombs. However, even destroying both of them, you're not getting as much. Well, actually no, destroying exactly 2 bases, you get the same amount as just destroying one with the 500-pounders. So why would you use the incendiaries? Because each one of them is worth way less, like literally half. And every single time you destroy a base using the 500-pounders, it is a base silver lions amount of about 12,000 here, so about 4,000 plus the 8,000, and 2,400 research points every single time you destroy one of those bases by dropping 10 bombs. So that's kind of guaranteed every game if you look at it that way. I mean, obviously it's not guaranteed. Sometimes you'll get hit by a teammate or something. Sometimes you'll have a bad time to the base where you find a R27 in your face, but most of the time you'll get that pretty guaranteed 2,000 base research, and 2,000 base research kind of transmutes into 5,000 most of the time, right? In this case it was the 2,600. So you are actually getting quite a bit of research over time just by adding something different to your loadout, and then going off and having fun with your missiles and stuff. So what else do I do to kind of survive and keep everything efficient? Well, one thing that I have picked up kind of is you never want to end up alone in in top tier in particular. You never want to not have at least one person to take a missile for you instead of you. Next to you, 2 people is still better than 1. Even if that person is not very good at the game, you're still 2 of you, and you have their missiles, they have your missiles, you have their flares even to use as cover if necessary. So what I've started to learn to do is actually to stick with the doom cloud of planes. Whichever direction that doom cloud goes, fit within it. You can be in front of it, you can be kind of in the front of it, or you can be behind it a little bit, but you want to get to that base, remember? So just kind of sit within that doom cloud and let them do the heavy lifting, as in eating missiles for you. Let them go off and hit the first wave where all 16 enemy players are throwing everything at everyone. So that you have more cover. The other players, they're going to be on the other team, they're going to be throwing off their AIM 9Ms and their R73s like crazy the second they see the other team. So if you're not quite within the beginning of that furball, or usually what happens is it's kind of like an S, you end up flying past each other and then meeting each other in the middle, kind of weirdly, is usually what I see in top tier. And so if you're not taking those first few missiles by the people who go straight up into combat thinking they're Maverick, you'll actually survive a bit longer. Another thing is that a lot of people with missiles tend to just go with their missiles. In fact, it's really funny when I see stuff like, I watch Defin videos and he yells at people for not taking a cannon on a Phantom, and I'm actually right there with him. Which it's really funny to me that this Phantom doesn't get a cannon, for instance, installed by default. That's just weird, but I guess it's historically accurate or something. But what I'm saying, don't be allergic to your cannon. Your cannon is a very useful tool. You can hit players with it pretty easily if you practice it just a little bit. You can also hit your AI targets. You can hit ground targets because you have a cannon computer. So there's a lot of other things. Your cannon is very useful. Don't be afraid to use it. Just because you have what might for the first time you're using it feel like wonder weapons, like Wunderwaffe, like the AIM 9Ms and the AIM 7Ms. If you're not used to those things, they feel amazingly powerful. That is if you know how to use them. But they're not the most dangerous thing on the plane, in my opinion. In my experience, I'll fire off sometimes. I've had some games where I'll fire off all 6 of my missiles and not get a single kill with them, and then I'll get 3 cannon kills because I'm out of missiles. And I'll actually go in and try to hit people. I'll win head-ons because I'm good at that. I will hit people in turn fights that don't quite know how to do that, right? And you can lock your radar on people, and a little cannon computer shows up that is, in my experience, very unreliable, but because it tends to move back and forth very weirdly, and it looks kind of, sometimes it's jumping around. You have to kind of guess where you're supposed to shoot, but that can be very helpful in those turn fights where you can put that cannon target right on top of where you want to hit on the enemy to rip their wing off or something. I would say at top tier, belts don't really matter, just so you know. However, I discovered on the F-16C, the armored belt, if you're going to do mostly close air support, or you're going to do a lot of taking out ground targets, which there's no point, just leave it on like air or default. But this one has no tracers, so keep that in mind. I did that by accident and had to fire blind on a few things. I still hit them, but I had to fire blind. So do that. And then stealth has no tracers at all, I think. So it has no tracers, yeah. So stealth is that your cannon goes off, yeah, and other players hear your cannon go off, but there are no tracers, so they don't necessarily, it's supposed to be so that they don't know you're firing. But other than that, really, honestly, surviving top tier is just getting used to it, getting used to notching, like I showed at the beginning of the video, not getting tunnel visioned also, like I showed at the beginning of the video, and just kind of learning how it goes. So for the remainder of this video, I'm just going to have with some of my jazz music. A couple of clips of some of the plays I've gotten with the F-16C. Honestly, top tier in my opinion. You can have crazy like 4, 5, 6 kill games. It's possible. I've seen people do it. I saw one guy get a 5 kill, and I was just like, oh my gosh, whoa, dude. He was like, I had 2, he had 5, and he and I cleaned up the lobby. It was pretty cool. So I've seen that happen. You can do that in top tier. It's just very difficult with how much faster paced it is. Like earlier today, and I really wish I had recording on, but I got a 6-man with sorry, let me get that up. I got a 6 kill with my A6M5, and I was so proud of it. I was like, oh, it's so amazing. But the difference between the combat in the old propeller planes and the combat in like the F-16, the combat is so much faster. Everyone dies so quickly. But with that, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed the clips that are to come. So thank you very much for watching. If you made it this far, I hope you enjoy the rest, and please sure to like and subscribe. Thank you.